Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 31 of Find Music, our never-ending quest to help turn you on to artists maybe you've never heard of, or finding albums from artists that you might have never seen. And in this case, for episode 31, I'm going to go with the opposite of what I did in episode 29. In episode 29, I talked about a new age artist named Raphael, right? Very pleasant music, very warm, right, and loving. But in this episode, I'm going to talk about the polar opposite of new age in the instrumental realm, and that's something called dark ambient music. Ambient music is music supposedly you can put on and go about your day with its background. But really good ambient music will lure you in. And dark ambient is, like it sounds, it's like the negative part, or the part without light. In fact, the artists that I'm going to talk about has what, for me personally, is my favorite dark ambient album. This artist, pretty well known in ambient circles, probably maybe even the #1 artist in ambient circles. His name is Steve Roach. Mm-hmm. And he has many albums, some a little too similar, right? You get that drone in ambient. But the shining star in all his albums for me is an album called The Magnificent Void. Came out in 1996. See if I can bring it up in my collection here. Got to share screen. Okay. And of course, I got to head down to S for Steve. There he is. All right, so you can see I've got 9 of his albums. Probably the one that put him on the map is Desert Solitaire. That was done with Michael Stearns and Kevin Braheny, who had that lovely song. Is it on this album? No, it's a different album, so I can't remember the song. But those are all were considered new age artists. And this was in the late 80s when new age had already peaked and was starting to run out of ideas. But Steve Roach went ambient, and he had a double disc called Dreamtime Return. That's supposed to be a legend in ambient, but I only really like one song from it, A Circular Ceremony. I'd recommend that, but more highly, I can recommend The Magnificent Void. There it is, from 1996. Now this album, you can see I'm giving it 5 stars. I almost never give an album 5 stars. 3 is the standard, 4, it's got to be phenomenal, and 5, it is the quintessential album for dark ambient. When I listen to this music, it takes me to another universe, a very dark universe, very lonely universe. It puts me really, literally into the void, and there's nothing else. Yeah, so actually, it's quite pleasant if you want to get away. I recommend the album, The Magnificent Void by Steve Roach. It'll take you where no other new age album will ever take you. I can't think of any album quite like it. Even his other music isn't quite like it. Midnight Moon comes the closest. That's 4 years later. But it's not as cohesive as The Magnificent Void. It's a journey. It's 8 songs, but song is a misnomer here because really it feels like one long journey. It just has interesting sounds, musical sounds along the way. Between the Gray and the Purple is the strongest one, the one that takes you in, and the others are just like adventuring to different parts of the space, right? And I just found out there's a group that calls themselves Altus, named after the last song of this album. So yeah, I'm not the only lover of this album. Just to dive down a little bit, quiet music is very pleasant. As far as ambient music goes, this one is the most new age of his collection. You'll enjoy quiet music if you like new age music. Streams and Currents has great variety. So it's not just a long drone. That's my main criticism of Steve Roach. Some of his albums are like long drones, right? You know, it's 30-minute drone, that kind of thing. But these albums have personality. World's Edge has probably the most variety of any album he's ever done. So I'd recommend that if you like new age music, if you like ambient music, this one is interesting. I think that's my collection. I have 6 albums by Steve Roach, and he has many more. And he also collaborates with some other artists. I want to mention this one collaborator. Got to pronounce that name. Vidna. Looks like Obama, but it's not Obama. Obmana. Yeah, Vidna Obmana. And they did an album together called Well of Souls. It's a 2-disc collection, and the second disc is just wonderful. I should give it more than the 3 stars. I haven't had a chance to up my rating here, but that's a good one. That's a good one. It's got that deep, dark, ambient feeling, but it's also more exotic thanks to Vidna Obmana. He gives it a twist with, what do you call those? There's a drum that's one drum you hit with your hand. Not a kettle drum. It's
bone drum. Bone drum.
Yeah, maybe that's why I can't remember the name. But it's just lovely. It's lovely. And Inner Zone is kind of similar. It's dark ambient. It has some interesting variations. And then the drone album, the one drone album I really like is the one he does with Vidna, Somewhere Else. This one doesn't even pretend to have songs. It doesn't pretend to have anything different. It's an hour and 11 minutes of a drone that's actually his most interesting drone. Okay, so if you like that, go with Somewhere. It's called Ascension of Shadows. Yeah, the first disc, that one song, Somewhere Else. It's wonderful. All right, so just to sum up, let me get this share off here. I am totally in love with the album The Magnificent Void by Steve Roach. It is the ultimate dark ambient album. I defy anyone to tell me I'm wrong. That's how strongly I feel about it compared to all the ones I've ever listened to. So I hope you'll enjoy trying that music, and stay tuned for more episodes next week. Thank you, everyone.